Gentlemen, you all are welcome to the second session of the Career Week 2022 by the Faculty of Engineering in Mr. Pune. I know that you all were so much excited with the very first session, how to make your resume stand out by Mr. Shan Yampat. So, what is the secret of succeeding in an interview? How will my degree help me to secure a job? How do I keep my nervousness at bay when facing an interview? You will find answers to these questions and many more other aspects in facing an interview in few moments of time. Our speaker, Mr. M Saleem, is a professional electronics and telecommunication engineer who has over 39 years of experience in the corporate sector in Sri Lanka and overseas. He has served at the top-ranked company in Sri Lanka's telecommunication giant Sri Lanka Telecom as a general manager for over 15 years. Now enjoying his retirement, Mr. Salim is helping people from all walks of life as a certified world-class speaking coach. So, to help us finding answers to this pertinent question, how to face an interview, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Zameen M Saleem to our audience. So, the platform is yours, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Viraj. And let me call you dear friends. I know we have a huge age gap between you and me. You were not even born when I entered employment or I entered university. I'm 100% sure of that, that's a little bit of engineering, if I put in such a way, if I say so. But from birth to death, right? So those two are but quite uncontrollable things there in our lives. But there are two other things which we can control, which are very important to our lives. Number one is finding a job, and number two is getting married, or rather settling down in your life, But these two things, getting married and getting a job, they both have similar qualities. They both are alike. Just forget going to a job for a while and just see, think of if you're already married. I believe most of you are not, right? Think of your girlfriend, boyfriend, or the spouse that you are looking forward to be with. You don't simply make that decision, do you? You don't. You have to go through a thorough selection process, because that is getting married is a lifetime commitment. So if you are committing for something for lifetime, then you have to give a lot of thought into it, because it is said, if you get a good spouse, a husband or a wife, you will be happy. But if you don't get a good spouse, you will become a philosopher. And it is the same thing even for a job. If you get a good job, yeah, you will be happy. But if you don't get a good job, your whole life will be a disaster. Because in today's world, employment is a very difficult thing. You may be having whatever the qualities that you have. Finding an employment is very difficult, and finding the right employment is extremely difficult. Now, when I said that, when I think from your point of view, do we have a choice in finding our job? I would say certainly yes. We should be able to choose and select our job, because it's going to be our future. Just because someone pays you ₹1 million a month, right? What is the purpose of going into that job or getting that employment if that employment doesn't make you happy? I personally would believe, you would enjoy yourself, you will engage yourself into a place where you are made happy. Happiness is the key here. So therefore, in the course of next 2 hours, quite a long time, I have I will discuss with you certain things and very important things that we would have to understand when we go to an interview, and how would we face that interview and become successful. That is the whole idea. Now we all pass out. Now I put all of you and me all in the same basket, and I will speak in the first plus person plural we, because I would like to include all of you with me. So let us go this journey together. So when we look for an employment, we should go for an employment which makes us will make us feel happy. Irrespective of the discipline you are doing, be it the electrical, electronics, civil engineering, mechanical, production, or whatever. We, after all, you go into that employment, you spend time there, you do your work, you use your brain, you use your skills, and you do your work. End of the day, you should feel happy that you have accomplished something, because it is the sense of accomplishment which makes you happy in everything. I'm sure you all will agree with me. When we study for our exams and we answer our exams, when the results come, we become happy, because that is our accomplishment. That is the hallmark of our accomplishment. So we are happy about that. So similarly, when we select a job also, we have to feel happy. And with that in mind, let me tell you, let me discuss with you what intimidates us when we go to face an interview, and how we will overcome that. Now, throughout my 35 years of experience, and nearly 15, I think about 18 years of my experience in the senior management of Sri Lanka Telecom, I have sat in so many interview panels. I have countless numbers of interview panels. Sometimes in recruitment, when we recruit somebody from outside, and sometimes when we consider people for internal promotions. So in both cases, there are interviews held. So I have sat in those interview panels, and I have met all sorts of people in those interview panels. And sometimes I feel pity for some of the people, because they are bright, brilliant, and I can see that they are bright and brilliant, but their performance at the interview lets them down, and they probably do not get the promotion or the job. Just like choosing your partner in marriage, this is a game of chance. From the recruiter's point of view and job seekers' point of view, both of us don't know each other very well. We only know the outside. You have not started with working with us, and we have not given you a chance to work with us. Only after working with us, only we will understand whether you are quite a suitable person to work or not. That's again, you give a little bit of the that to the fate, or the chance, if I say so. It's definitely a kind of a gamble. So although I have experience in sitting in various interviews, before while getting ready for this presentation this evening, I consulted a couple of other people who are currently in the game of recruitment, in the IT industry and in manufacturing industry. There are a couple of people whom I knew. So I consulted them, and I asked, what do you look in a person? And most of these the people, and also the study I did, they all agree on one thing. That one thing is, we are looking for a suitable person. We don't care about their qualification, because they come with a university degree. They come with their qualifications, and when to get the degree from the university, they have to prove themselves in the university. So they prove themselves in the university. So there is nothing else that we do to double check it. We know when they get when they have the degree, the first class, second class upper, or second class lower, or ordinary degree, or whatever it is, when they come with the degree, we know that they have that basic knowledge and the basic skill set to execute the job that we require in our organizations. We all know. So, sorry. So we do not go to begin to see what sort of technical knowledge you are having. We do not ask you detailed questions. If this happens, what are you going to do? No, that is not what we are doing. We are looking for a person because we are going to marry you. If I say in that word, you are going to join our family as an employee, so that you and I, our organization and you will have a cordial relationship for us to go through. So let me start um, my presentation so that you can easily follow me. Do you see my screen?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. So what are the qualities that they are looking for? So this is something very important that we should know. The qualities that now, as I said, in today's competitive market, there's a lot of competition. So we as an employer and you as a potential employee, we should match. So number one, that most of these recruiters look for you is the passion. Now you might say, my God, how are you going to measure, or how are you going to know whether I have the passion or not? I am a passionate person. I am very passionate for everything. So I am very passionate. But just because I am passionate, unless the other person sees me, my passion, or they judge you thinking that you have that passion, you will not get a chance. Now I am speaking to you from my home. So at home we all stay in quite relaxed. We dress quite casually and all that. But if I ask you the question, why am I dressed like this? Is this the way that I am going to dress at home all the time? No, not obviously not. I have dressed like this, and I have combed my hair, and I have groomed my beard and wearing the tie, and I am even watching a wristwatch, right? Because I am preparing for this. I'm talking to you, although I am speaking to you online. One reason, only reason is, before I start speaking with you, you are going to see me, right? When you see me, you will make a judgment whether I like or not. You are going to judge me. So imagine if I had not combed my hair properly and I was just wearing a very casual t-shirt or something. What sort of a judgment you will make about me before listening to my speaking? Quite naturally, you will have kind of a different opinion. So that is why it's very important that you show your passion in whatever you do by showing it, making it visible to the other person. So one way of me showing my passion to you is this: I'm I'm dressing up. If possible, I would even wear my coat over this shirt. but it is pretty warm at home. So therefore, I chose not to. But all those things what you put in to show yourself very well to the other person, that shows the passion. So the interviewers, how are they going to find out whether you are passionate or not? And they would definitely question. They will ask you a question or two. Right? It all depends how you answer those questions. Right? For example, an interviewer might ask you the question, how are you going to stay up to date in the field, in your field? We all know today the technology is fast expanding, it is improving the day to day. Things are coming up. I can remember when I was in Morocco University, the computer-aided manufacturing camp was a big thing. My God, we thought, right, that is that is the newest, the latest, the ultimate technology we are going to have. Today, my God, we even think, I don't know, and because I am not in the production field, but I see videos of 3D printing. You can 3D print not only in polymers, but you can even print in metal and um, 3D print machines, machine parts, so all those things. So those are latest technology. So how are you going to keep yourself update in your field? Now, telecommunication, when I started about almost 40 years ago, we only had these electromechanical switches. And then it came to entire solid state switches. We thought, my God, it's it is the technology. So from solid state switches, we came to the computer controlled switches. And then today we are talking about IP switches and various other things where everything has become very small and more efficient, and sort of we only need one switch to the entire country, and probably I don't know what will come be there in the future. So probably there'll be only one node for the whole world. I'm not sure, but so the things are changing like that. So how are you going to keep yourself up to date in your field? So they might ask you a question. And another question is what is the one big question that you always try to solve? One big question. What is the big question? And I know today most of us Sri Lankans, we have one big question because of the political instability in the country. So we always think of, right, how is this going to end, and how is this going to be over, and when are we going to get back to that comfortable life that we used to be? But whatever it is, when they ask you the question, they will not look for the right answer, because these questions they don't have one right answer, but they will look how you are going to answer, the way you are giving the answer. That is what is most important. How? With your ability to speak. I will come to that in a short while about your ability to speak, but that is how they will see whether you are passionate, whether you have passion for everything. How would you like to connect with other professions in your industry? So for for us engineers, for all of us, we know we have one body, the Institute of Engineers Sri Lanka. So that would be one place where we connect with other professions in the industry. So we will attend the annual symposiums, the conferences, and various things where we keep ourselves connected with other professions, because in the field of engineering, you are not alone. You cannot do the work all by yourself. You got to share your knowledge, discuss with others, you speak to the colleagues, look for answers and you implement them. So they will look for that quality in you. And also they might ask you, why are you so excited about this role? Can you say, I just applied because I want a job? And do you think that they will offer you the job just because you need the job? No, because if I am the recruiter, if I want to recruit you, I will look for a person who will be the perfect fit into the organization so that I can be happy. I myself, as an a recruiter, the employer, I will be happy. Whether by employing you, I will be happy, or is it going to be a difficult task to keep you in the employment? So therefore, there are, you got to show that you have that passion in executing this. So what makes you excited about this role? Just think, because in from your field, now the what you have been studying or learning all these years, so there are things that keeps you excited. So when you get into a job, when you try to enter into this particular job, there should be something that keeps you excited, right? This is what I am going to do, this is what I am going to do. So that is what you should know. Of course, when we were recruited, when I was recruited about 40 years ago, there was no competition. Just when you have the qualification, you just get the job. And also in government organizations, they don't care. Just because if you have your degree plus a pass for mathematics in O level, it's ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous, but that is what they are looking for. Because the people in the government organizations, they are merely, unfortunate to say, they are merely clowns. They will go through the scheme of recruitment and they will say, you need a credit pass or better in O level mathematics, a credit pass or better in O level English language. They will look for that. Now, you may be having the first class honors degree in the university, but they will see whether you have passed mathematics in O levels. So what a ridiculous thing. But that is so, because I'm telling you out of my experience. There have been a lot of issues in our organization. Sometimes we get the best of the person we want to recruit, but they were the somebody down in the chain will say, no, he has only a simple pass for English at all levels. Now, from all levels to your postgraduate, how many years do you have? And they never consider that your language skills have improved during that time. So there's a little bit of diversion, but this is what is going to happen. So what keeps you excited in this job role, and what is the satisfying thing about this job? What makes you satisfied? In every organization, the person who is recruiting you, they will look for a person who will stay happy in the organization. They don't want the failures or people who will bring negative energy to an organization. No, nobody wants that. Nobody wants a negative energy. We always need positive energy in our organization. So therefore, we will look for that. So they might ask you a question: how do you define success? Why do you want to work with us? And all these questions they might ask. And what now in the market, you now if you are joining a production agency, production organization where they manufacture things and they put it in the market, they might even ask, what do you think of our competitors? Now if you come to Sri Lanka Telecom, for example, we might ask you, how do you see, what is the difference you see from between us and our competitors? So you should be able to answer from that, we will judge you whether you are passionate or not. And dear friends, I kindly request you, if you have any doubt or anything that you want to clarify while I go on talking, please raise your hand or um, interrupt me and ask that question. So it will be easy for me to complete that section then and there, because I am going to cover quite a bit during the next 1.5 hours. So then, how the emotion quotient. How are you going to emotionally bond with us? Now, emotion quotient, it's a we say, right, okay, IQ is not enough, EQ is what is necessary. EQ is emotional quotient. In simple terms, how do you gel with other people emotion? That is what people will be knowing. The EQ level of the companies want to hire employees that have high EQ or high EQ. Low EQ tend to damage the work environment. They demotivate themselves, and they will demotivate others around you. Right. So emotionally, how you are emotionally gelled or amalgamate with others in the organization, because we human beings are emotional beings. Human beings are emotional beings. We decide many things based on our emotions. Even, finding a life partner, even sometimes deciding who are you going to vote for at an election. They all are based on emotions. We do a lot of things based on, if someone makes you feel unhappy, you become emotionally charged, and you give them or you return them, abuse them verbally or something. That is all because we are emotional beings. When we when we see a little child, we are emotionally charged. We show them a lot of love, and we are so happy to see a little child, right? When you see someone who is kind of shabbily dressed, and doesn't smell nice, and then you emotionally you reject them. They may be the best knowledgeable person in the world, but you so they are all because of the emotions. Many things can happen. If you are high in your EQ, you will be able to energize and influence others. Right? So you are ready to gel with everybody, right? Okay, if somebody is not feeling well, right, okay, you go and empathize with them, and you are emotionally there. You connect with them. So it's very important you have a high EQ or emotional quotient when you work in teams, because team is a gathering of people. They are different, all are different. You say, the team is like 5 different fingers in your hand. They are all different. Nothing is equal. So two people are not equal. So they are emotionally and intellectually, and for that matter, by all aspects, they are different. But if you are very good in your emotional quotient, if you are an emotional being, if you understand that, you can easily gel with them and bring that positive energy into the group and bring that group together. So that is something that most organizations, serious organizations, will look for. They will definitely look for you. They might even ask a question or two to see how emotionally you are okay. I can remember once I was interviewed um, by a foreigner, right? A foreigner. He was I don't know, he was asking me the same question over and over again. Now I don't remember which question it was. It was a person question they were asking me, but this gentleman was asking the question over and over again to a level that sometimes I was feeling with the am I not answering him properly, or am I not giving the correct answer that he is expecting me? Why is he asking this question over and over again? I think after about 5 times he asked the same question, he smiled and said, Salim, I just wanted to see whether you get angry or not. So that is one way of he checking my EQ. Now EQ is not like IQ. You cannot give a test and give mark. There are various methods of testing your EQ, but at an interview nobody will go to that extent to test your EQ. But these are the things that they will ask. You send your resume and you sit in the interview, and the interviewer might ask, what is your date of birth? Now, why should they ask the date of birth? Because it is in that resume. What is your university? Why are they asking that question? Isn't it they are in the resume? No, they ask that question for a purpose, just to see whether you are emotionally neutral in that level. You will not say, you will say, right, I was born on this date of this month, this year, and also sarcastically say, because you want to show yourself you are very smart, will sarcastically say, it is also given in this EQ, in the resume. That is something that you should avoid. They will ask your date of birth or place of birth or the university. They might ask 4 or 5 times. Never ever try to say that it is given in the resume. Don't say that. Every question they ask for a purpose. So when a question is asked, your duty is to give the answer. Never mind they ask the question 100 times, you give the answer. You give the answer, keep your composure. So that is probably they are asking this question to check your EQ level. Then your commitment. How committed are you? Right? This is a very important aspect. An employer will look in you. They want to see how committed are you. How would they check? See, you are going to an interview. You are going to say, now, let's say you are coming to Sri Lanka Telecom for seeking employment, and you are coming to that interview. And if you are committed, if your commitment level is high, before coming into the interview, you would go through our website and study about the organization and be prepared. Be prepared to know about the organization. Call a friend if someone is working at Sri Lanka Telecom, and find out about the company culture, what sort of. Many people, they call and ask, Machan, කොච්චර දේගොල්ලන් පඩි ගෙවන්නේ. It's not only the padiya that you should be concerned of. Padiya, yes, that is the salary, the wage is a very important aspect, but many people, they call and ask, are they paying a good salary? So what are the other monetary benefits you get, and do they pay for petrol and all that? Yeah, those perks, yeah, they are needed, we need them. But more than that, you have to call your friend or ask somebody whom you know about the company culture. How does this company operate? Right now, are they socially responsible companies? So what sort of socially responsible projects that they have done? Right. So you just look for. You can easily find those things if you go to their website, and if possible by reading their annual reports. I'm not talking about financial reports, the profit and loss. Knowing them is very important. But more than that, just read their website and just read their annual reports and find out what is this company passionate about, right? So let's say if they have done a project for, by helping people affected due to some calamity, or now the recent pandemic we had, how they have reacted during the pandemic, right? So just read about it, and then right? So when you talk with them, you can take this subject, you can drag into this subject and talk about it, and then they will understand, my God, this guy is committed, he has some commitment towards our company. So this is so when you, now this is quite true even when you meet from one person to a person, maybe when you meet your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, right? If your boyfriend is interested in cricket, you will learn a little about cricket and you will discuss with him about cricket. If your girlfriend is interested in fashion, I would say you should learn something about fashion, and you will discuss with your girlfriend about fashion, because that is how you show your commitment to each other. It is just something similar to that, because we all are emotionally connected. So how you connect with your employer, prospective employer, emotionally, is by showing your commitment. It's one of the very important things that people will look for. So just see. Now, I sometimes when I go to, I have been in sales and marketing. I have been the general manager of sales and marketing in SLT for quite a long time. So I go to large organizations to make sales. Sometimes my salespeople come and say, if you come, you will be able to get some edge. So when I walk into their organization, I look around and I just want to see, have they displayed their the vision of the company, the mission of the company, or they will have some posters about some social activity they have done. So they have gone on their annual outing and all that. So I will quickly put those things in my mind, and when I go to meet the person concerned that I want to discuss our sale with, I don't talk sales. I will just talk about their passion. Oh, right. I see that you have gone on your annual outing recently. So how was it? And did people enjoy? And then the other person will understand, my God, this guy is interested in us. He has a genuine interest in us. Of course, you have to have genuine interest in the other person. Then making the sale or closing the sale, even getting the job, is quite easy because you are making a great impression. So the commitment, showing your commitment, is that. And although this I'm discussing this point quite late in my presentation, but this is also one of the very important aspects. Communication. How do you communicate? Now, didn't I tell you that I was discussing with some of the recruiters in the IT and the production industry? Yeah, I just asked them, how do you look for their communication skills? Because I myself I am a person who believes greatly in communication skills. If a person is able to communicate clearly, definitely that person is a catch, right? Communicate. We need communicators to every organization, because whatever you do, whether you are in deep in the production cycle, or whether you are in the forefront of the organization, whether you are in the top of the organization, wherever it is, it's very important that you are able to communicate. So the communication is an important factor. So I asked this guy who is in IT recruitment, okay, just say, you have two people equally skilled, right? You have two people who are equally skilled that you are trying to recruit. Whom you will recruit? He said, I will definitely recruit the person who can communicate well. That is it. Maybe the skills are even better if even other now that's again something that he told me. Even if the other person's the skill levels are better than the person who can communicate well, he will recruit the person who can communicate, because he he will be able to deal better with our clients, and also he will be able to deal with the other stakeholders within the organization, because they communicate well. Then I had this question. Then I asked this question: are you talking about speaking in English? He said, no, not necessarily. Yeah, speaking is in English is not necessarily. Right? If a person can communicate well in their own language, right, we would definitely consider. But if you take two people who will speak Sinhala very well or Tamil very well, but doesn't speak in English, but if you have a person who would speak their mother language, either Sinhala or Tamil, plus communicate well in English, we will definitely pick the person who can speak in English. Why? Now, I don't know about majority of you, right? I believe that majority of you are Sinhala speaking. Now, me personally, English is not my first language. English is not even my second language. English is my third language. I had to make a great effort to learn, to be able to communicate English very well, because I realized the value of English speaking in quite a in a bad way. This is not the right time for me to tell you that story, but I was humiliated not once, not twice, but many times, because of the inability to speak clearly in English. Then I realized that I want to do something about myself. So then I learned communication skills, and I started communicating in English. And today I'm standing before you, speaking to you in English language. So this is something that you should not discount, because if you can communicate well, your skill set, you need your skills, you need your skills, you need your education and everything you need, but it will give you a greater advantage rather than compared to another person who is having the same level of education or even better level of education than you. If you can communicate well, that definitely will give you an advantage. Please take this to heart, right? Please take this to heart and understand communicating in English particularly is very important. So it is a very important quality that the recruiter, if I am recruiting you, I will definitely look for good communicators and experience. Yeah, I know you are just passing out from the university. You do not have experience with you, but I'm sure I was just told before this session began that you are going for your um, industrial training after at the end of this month, and you will be choosing your internships and all that. So that is definitely will be your first step in experience, but not only that experience per se. When you discuss things with people, even your experience in the university, what have you done, your extracurricular activities, whatever, the experience is an aspect that people will look for, by if you were you are if a recruiter is looking for a good person, they will just look whether you are only confined to your subject, or you are kind of a person who widens your scope. Right? So widen your scope means not only engineering, not only civil engineering, not only production engineering, not only electronics and telecommunication engineering. So that sort of a person, right? Experience, I am not going to talk to you in detail here because I understand that when you go to the job market today, may not they may not necessarily look for people with experience, but definitely the other characteristics like your EQ, your the all the aspects that we discussed a little while ago, and then teamwork. Now, teamwork is a very important aspect. In fact, we, as I told you before, when you get into an organization, when you work in an organization, teamwork is important. As I said earlier, the 5 different fingers are different. You should be able to work together as a team. And you should be able to respect the team's aspirations. And you should be able to respect everybody else, irrespective of whether what school they went to, what university they are. When you come to the the actual job world, the corporate world, if I say so, you will find there are different types of people who come from different parts of the country, different schools, and you will see, right, there's a lot of internal politics happening inside the organizations. Um, Unfortunately, this happens quite a lot in government organizations, but even in some large corporate entities, I personally know these things are there. Depending on your college, the school you attended, the university, and they say, "Ah, right, that university is the best university. This is the best university." No, but whatever it is, when you are getting into the society, you should be a good team worker. So the interviewer will ask you, what sort of teamwork have you done? Right now, as I told a little while ago, you probably don't have any experience in in the field of work, but definitely we all are working in teams, isn't it? In university, we have you probably are engaged in certain societies like gavel clubs, so interact clubs, so um, art society, or religious society, so whatever. Those are the places where you engage yourself in practicing teamwork, because a team gets together for a common achievement. We all want to achieve something for a common goal. So in that case, you will uh, be assessed on questions. How did you do? Then you will say, I was the president of this club, I was the secretary of this society, and we ran a community project in the university, and I was playing a key role in this. So by all these things, they will assess your ability to work in a team, not necessarily work related. Now, please remember, when you get into a job, because you are passing out from the university, you are fresh, you don't have any experience, and the employer will, they understand that you don't have experience, but they will definitely see whether you have these qualities by asking various questions. So, um, before I conclude this section about the qualities that you would have, what qualities you would have, uh, just remember this: your passion, your emotional quotient, your commitment, your communication, your experience, and your teamwork. These are the areas that you will be, looked at. They don't want to know how much you know about the subject, because they know that you are coming with the degree, and that assessment has been already done. They will look at your GPA and all these things. So they are not bothered about that. They are very bothered about this, because you are going to get married into this organization. So this is a marriage we are going to talk about. So you need to be aware of that. Let me give you a tip. I believe that you are going to have your this internship interviews or whatever in I think end of next month, or rather the third week of June. That is what I was made to understand. Before that, get into your cliques. I am sure you all have your cliques, your friends, your friends, make your clique a large clique and just run mock interviews. Just mock, just whatever it is, just a mock interview, run it and practice. Because one important aspect in communication is your practice. You should speak a lot. You should speak a lot. You should try to explain, just ask a hypothetical question. If this telephone pole is falling, what are you going to do? No, just to have a hypothetical question. There is a telephone pole and it is falling. What are you going to do? So you will say, right, this is what I will do. I will. Somebody will say, I will recruit a team. So somebody will say, no, I will get a contractor. I will get a skilled person who is skilled for this. Whatever it is, just keep talking, because this talking muscle is something that we have to keep exercising. We are very comfortable when we are in our cliques. We are very comfortable to talk in our own language, whether it is Sinhala or Tamil. I believe most of you are doing that. But if you want to, I said communicating in English will definitely give you a big edge. Right? So just for a while, switch to English. Switch to English and speak. I know you all know English because you are learning, you are doing your studies in English. So if you are doing your studies in English, you know English. But the problem becomes when it comes to communicating. I remember a time that, even after passing out from university, when I came to my employment, I go to these various seminars, conferences, and all that. I was a person who never asked a question, because not because I didn't know English. I knew English, and not because I didn't understand anything. No, I understood anything. But these questions that I have in my mind, I was unable to convert it to a question and ask. So I kept myself silent, and I was frustrated as a result. So I don't want you to be frustrated like that. So you should be always ready. You should make yourself ready to go ahead and conquer this world. So please practice communication. Communication is one of the most important thing. I remember once a gentleman whom I respect a lot. His name is Mr. Naranjan De Silva. He was the CEO of Metropolitan Group of Companies some time ago. Now he is retired. He once told me, there had been a team of Japanese entrepreneurs who have come to look to recruit some engineers from Sri Lanka in the field of this consumer electronics. So when they came, they had said, Mr. Naranjan De Silva, we don't care anything about their qualification. We know the Sri Lanka universities, they give the best knowledge. So we are only interested in people who have mainly EQ and communication skills. If they have those two, we are definitely going to recruit. So Mr. Naranjan De Silva told me that he had to screen through hundreds of applications, and eventually, I think he went through about 300 applications, so potential CVs, and finally ended up recruiting only 3. So that is the level of competition that you might face at certain times. if you want to succeed in your life, communication and your adaptability, that is again, EQ is the most important thing. Just try to practice. Practice makes you, competent. I wouldn't say practice makes you perfect. Perfection, there is nothing perfect in this world. No, but nothing is perfect, but it will make you competent, right? If you are competent in your communication, you can go anywhere and win. And that is certain. Okay. So I am now going to discuss with you how do you improve your interview performance. Now this is about how you are going to perform at the interview. So these little the next half of my discussion will be based on how you are going to face the interview. How are you going to improve your performance in the interview? I think this is the most important part for you. Number one, non-verbal communication. I told you in the beginning that, before you start speaking, people see you. And that is your non-verbal communication, because people see you before even you start speaking. So it is very important you know that your body speaks louder than any word that you are going to speak. So that is why it's very important that you take care of your attire. The quite often asked question is, for ladies, do they have to wear sari? I don't know. I have no answer to that. I personally wouldn't mind with whatever a lady is wearing, as long as it is appropriate. Now, this is where you need to do your homework, or understand about the company, understand about the company's culture. What sort of a culture? Now, this is where it is very important. Right? I know most of these companies that are based in this American and this European based companies, they don't care much about their attire in the employees, right? Employees, their attire. Even the CEO, they come casually dressed. Just because the CEO is a casually dressed person, it doesn't give you permission to dress casually at the interview. Whatever it is, I said, we are all human beings, we are all emotional people. We will, anybody, now I asked this question from the recruiters that I discussed with you also. Anybody will make a judgment on you just by your appearance. Now, one this IT, the person who is in IT, he just told me, we wanted a particular skill set which was very rare to find. Unfortunately, I had to recruit somebody who was kind of stinking because there was nobody else. If there was anybody else who was less stinking or not stinking at all, I would have recruited him, but I couldn't find, but that was kind of the humorous or hilarious part of it. But now here, people will not like to have a person who is kind of shabbily dressed, right? Just because the company culture is to be in casual, it doesn't give you the permission to dress casually at the interview, because at the interview your main intention is to make an impression. Let me give you one cardinal rule. This is applicable even to any gathering you probably are invited, right? Let's say you are invited to some event. You don't know what that event is, but the person says, no, I just want you to come there. And you don't know what sort of a what am I going to wear? Because you all know that the appearance matters, right? So just go in your best attire. Overdressing is okay. Underdressing is not okay. If you wear a pair of denims and the slippers and t-shirt, and if you are having a beard, not trimmed, and that sort of a thing, people are not going to have a good impression on you. That is non-verbal communication. The way you walk into the interview, and the way you go and shake hands with them, they are all very important non-verbal communication. Now, nowadays, people, sometimes your preliminary interview might be held online. Even online, you have to dress appropriately. And if it is online, just, I am not saying invest, right? Just be careful about how you uh, arrange your lighting and all that, so that you look good on the camera. Just, you don't have to go and buy these studio lights and all that. No, you don't have to. Just use a table lamp or something, whatever you are having, have some kind of a proper lighting, that so that you are properly visible on camera. You can just do a mock discussion with a friend of yours, um, and see whether how you look, right? Even if you are having a virtual background. Now today I'm having a virtual background. Now, just see how appropriate it is. Is it right? Rather than having a flashy virtual background, have a simple thing, just like this. It's just a uh, kind of a tiny grayish sort of a thing. I'm not asking you to choose gray, whatever it is. Use something that is suitable, right? And when you walk into an interview, and if they um, kind of offer to shake your hand or whatever, give them a warm handshake. The handshake speaks a lot. Now, this is something that I want to highlight, particularly sometimes the ladies. If this was a physical session, I would have demonstrated it. Now, ladies will only, just try to hold the, 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 the fingers part of the other person's hand, which is not kind of a strong handshake. The handshake has to be firm, but not very hard. And I know some men, they go and they squeeze the hand so that the other person will be in pain. No, that is not a good handshake. Just hold the other person's hand fairly firmly and shake. And that is a very warm handshake. Those are all parts of non-verbal communication, right? And the way you sit and all these things, this online platform is not the forum for me to teach you that, because I have to demonstrate them, otherwise you will not understand. The way you sit, how you feel, project your confidence, not slouching in. You don't slouch in. You sit quite erect, and give a relaxed posture and all that. And gentlemen, wearing a jacket to the interview, yeah, it looks you smart. It gives you a smart demeanor to you. Definitely, it looks very smart. Now, just because I have to go to an interview, don't go and try to buy a jacket or something. No, you don't have to invest that much. You can borrow, you can hire or something. But if you are wearing a jacket, right, make sure that it fits. If you are wearing the jacket, the color matching and all that, you have to be very particular about it. But that is, again, I don't intend to cover all those aspects in this session, because I have other things to cover. But be mindful of your dress, and particularly, gentlemen, your shoes. Your shoes are very important. Don't wear these fancy shoes, wear a pair of black or brown. I personally do not like brown because brown has a different psychology. Preferably black pair of shoes, but polished. Make sure you polish your shoes. People will judge you from your shoes. 100% sure. If your shoes are not clean and they are dusty and they are not polished and all that, people will judge you, right? This guy has not paid attention to his shoes. Never ever discount your shoes. No, get them polished. Polish it, try to bring some luster to that and shine, and then you will be good to go. So that is part of non-verbal communication, and also part of attire, right? So these two go hand in hand, attire and non-verbal communication, right? Non-verbal communication is your body speaks, and attire is your dress speaks. you know uh, Even if you are wearing makeup, I know gentlemen, they don't uh, wear makeup, but little bit of makeup. I'm not saying apply the foundation creams and lipsticks and all that, but a little bit of powder to make to help avoid your face shining and all that, and to just uh, highlight certain areas of your face is very very important, because that will give give a pleasing look to the other person. Ladies, don't overdo your makeup, right? Just to quite a try to emphasize or enhance your natural look, rather than you are not going to be dressed like a bride, right? So bride, sometimes men become surprised when they see their bride, because they can't recognize their bride, because they are wearing so much of makeup. No, you don't have to do that. Try to make sure that you use your makeup so that it enhances your natural look, right? And also, if you are wearing your earrings, try to make them not dangling earrings. The problem with the dangling earrings is, sometimes it looks nice on you. Definitely, I am ladies, when they wear dangling earrings, it's good. But at an interview, what happens is, when your earrings are too dangly, your interviewees attention will go on to that, and they will this is shaking too much. Their attention will go on to the dangling earrings rather than what you are saying. So therefore, try to use a stud or a decent looking pair of earrings. And if you're wearing glasses, please make sure that the glasses are clean. I'm not going to telling you go and buy a new pair of glasses. No, just get your glass clean. Sometimes the 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 fingerprints and the dust in the glass can be a distraction. So we would, as an interviewee, we would like to see your eyes, look at your eyes. So that should be there. And then the most important part in communication is listening. I understand, when you go to interview, when you go and sit there at an interview, you are very nervous. You don't know, oh, what questions are they going to ask? Will they put me in trouble? Now, I will tell you for a fact, when I have been sitting in interview panels, I want, sometimes I spend the whole day from morning till evening. I am in the interview panel, so I want to enjoy that time. So I would like to have a person who will come and smile with me and talk with me nicely, and also listen to me and understand my question and answer properly. So for you, um, you got to listen carefully. It is one of the most crucial things. From the very beginning of the interview, your interview is giving you information. We will talk. The interviewer will give you information. I will tell about my organization, or what we look for in a person, whether directly or indirectly, I will talk. Then you have to listen to it. Right? Many people miss this. They miss this. They are preoccupied with their thoughts. Will I get this job? Am I going to get this job? What am I to do? Will they transfer me to Ambantoto? How am I going to? No. Don't get yourself preoccupied on those thoughts. Right? You have to listen. If you listen well, now ask yourself this question: do you, when you are talking to someone, do you want the other person to interrupt you, or do you want the other person to listen to you? Right? If that person is listening to you, um, yeah, giving an occasional nod or smile or whatever, then you will like that person. If someone is, while you are talking, if the other person is also talking, you are going to hate. They'll say, please stop, listen to me, one. I'm trying to make a point here. Right? That is what you will do. And same thing in an interview. Right? You want someone. I as an interviewee want someone who would listen to me. So how would you show that you are listening? Is not just sitting and giving that gesture. You will. Oh yeah, yeah. I understand. Make those gestures and do that part, and that is how you will give the other person the impression that you are listening. And you got to really listen, because while you are listening, there'll be questions that coming into your mind which you can ask later, right? And then speak less. When the interviewer asks you a question, number one is don't give a yes no answer and keep quiet. No, that is what not what we expect. I will expect you to speak, but don't go speaking over and again, just repeating the same thing. Now, if I ask you, okay, so what has been your your interest, and what is your personal interest in? Then you will say, I like music. No, that is not what I want. So I like music. I like to sing, and I like to compose music, and I like to play musical instruments, and I have played in concerts and all that. Just briefly say and stop. You have spoken in, you have played in concerts. So what is the instrument that you play? All right, I used to play the violin. All right. So is it the Western violin? So if the interviewer is interested in your hobby, they will ask questions. So otherwise they will keep quiet. You don't know whether the interviewer is interested in your hobby or not. Right? If they are interested, they will ask questions. If they are not, yeah, they will move to the next question. So by saying speak less, what I mean is that you will speak at a moderate amount and not at length. You don't go to explain about the whole project. It was a very rainy day, and I was walking home, and I was getting wet, and the place was cloudy, and the it was flooded, and all those things. You don't give all these uh, details unless you are asked. So you just say, yeah, yeah, it was quite rainy and it was flooded, and we anyway were able to manage it. Just brief and concise. Brief and concise. And this is another um, thing that I want you to avoid. Don't be too familiar. What does this mean? Now, as I told you, when I am in an interview panel, I would like to be in a happy environment. I don't want to make that face and intimidate the interviewee. Now, if there is a panel of interviewers, because we are all human beings, we all want to be, we all want to recruit somebody to the organization rather than intimidate someone and put them down and, um, dishearten them or humiliate them. No, that is not our intention. Our intention from in the point of view from the interview panel is to recruit someone to the organization, right? In doing that, we will show or we will extend a very friendly demeanor to you, right? Just because we are trying extending a very friendly demeanor to you, you cannot be too familiar. Is it hi, yes, yeah, guys, that sort of a thing. You do not show yourself too familiar. That definitely is a negative point. I have seen people, they come and they even turn their feet and they put their foot on top of the other and try to show that I'm very casual and I'm very friendly with, yeah, you may be a very friendly person, right? But don't show that at the interview. Yeah, when you get the job, you can definitely be friendly with everybody and bring that your usual demeanor to, to to be seen by the others, but not and at the interview. Your level of familiarity should be should should just mimic the other person's. It's like mirroring. If your interviewer is smiling, you smile, right? If he laughs, you don't try to laugh louder than him, right? If he cracks a joke, you you just acknowledge the joke and you just laugh and say, yes, that's a very funny one. You don't go, breaking the roof and laughing with them. No, you don't do that. So that is something. Don't be too familiar is that. And use appropriate language. I think I touched a little bit on that also. That is, don't use slang. Guys, how are you guys? How do you do? And all these things. This among friends. We can talk like that among friends, but you are talking to your prospective employer. Right? When you are talking to your prospective employer, you have to have a level of respect, right? A level of friendliness, and all these things should be reflected in your communication. So you don't use all these, slang language, guys. If they try to, if you if they ask you to describe a funny incident that happened to me. Oh, my guys and I, we were going to on a hike, and these chicks. Don't use such language, because such language definitely will mm, will be a turn off. So please be respectful. Say, I was going with my friends on a hike, and we saw a set of girls, and they were kind of distressed, and we went there. We helped them, we offered them food, and we offered them drinks, and finally we became very good friends. In fact, two of my friends, they even one of my friends even got married to one of those girls. You can speak like that rather than using all these, the sometimes we think, right, they are the best language. No, it's not. The language what you use in a professional environment should be quite rich. It shouldn't taste bad. So therefore, please be mind of. And this is again another, a mistake I did, actually. A mistake I did. Don't be cocky. Cocky means ganang ganne. Yeah. The first day, I told you, in our time, almost 40 years ago, we didn't have all these interviews and all that. Yeah, there was an interview even that was just to check our certificates and things, and I got the job. The very first day to my job, you know what I was wearing? I was wearing a pair of rubber slippers. Can you believe? Today I feel humiliated. In fact, I was humiliated that day. I was wearing rubber slippers and pair of shirts and just um, a shirt, short sleeve shirt, which was not even ironed. They were crushed like this, and I had thick, long beard, and my hair was not combed properly, and that is how I went to accept my appointment on the first day. I was so cocky, and I'm not going to tell you the story here, but I got the treatment that I deserved for that sort of cockiness. So maybe you have the world's best qualification, maybe you have the highest GPA, the first class honors degree, and all these things. In fact, yeah, we have to be happy about it. I'm so happy and proud about it. And but just because that is there, it doesn't give you uh, permission to be cocky. Oh, hey, gila nih kan. What is this? No, you should respect the others. Why we dress ourselves up is because you have to respect the other person. You are respecting the interviewee because the interviewee, the employer, is taking their time to speak with you. They are giving their time to you to speak with you. In fact, yes, they are trying to see whether you are a suitable candidate to our organization or not. That's a different thing. But they are giving their time. So you have to be respectful of that. So don't be too, um, there's no other word, being cocky, right. The bad attitude, it definitely plays a key role in your interview success. Your attitude definitely is the key role. So never ever, don't ever do it. Take care to answer questions. Now, when you are answering questions, just don't try to invent an answer. Let's say that they are asking you, describe a situation where you had a difficulty and how did you overcome that. So, number one, if you practiced your mock interviews, then definitely you would have come across this question and you already have practiced that answer. You can give that answer. Describe a difficult situation in your life and how you overcome. Now, this is where I said, little bit of mock practice is important. Then you are ready. You have faced about 200, 300. You just go online and find the interview questions, common interview questions. You can find thousands of them. Right? If you can practice all those thousands, that will be good, because whoever it is going to interview you are invariably going to ask something, a question of that sort. Then if you had practiced that answer, then you will have. But if you don't have, if you have nothing to say, just don't try to invent an answer. Just say, I cannot think of a situation like that. I don't think that there is anything for me to say about that. No. Take care to answer. Take care to speak, right? Because each word that you speak, right, counts, because they are going to make a judgment on you by each word that you are going to speak. So they will ask, behavioral questions and whatever the question, but every question I said, listening is very important. You listen. And number two, take care to answer. Just don't give, just invent an answer and give, because that is not what they are expecting. They would like to recruit a person who is, you know, very careful in choice of their words, very careful in, uh, respecting the other person and all that, so on and so forth. So that is what they expect from you. And one big mistake most of the freshers they do is, there will be, almost all the time there will be the time given to you by the interviewees. So is there anything that you would like to ask? And many candidates say, no, I don't have, as if that you know everything. No, but in your mind, you ask yourself, you have something. So don't worry to ask the question. Now, I can give a classic example from my own life. My youngest son, who is an undergraduate in computer science. Now, currently, he's in his internship. Right? So, when he was, I think he selected, or he attended three interviews to three different organizations. The organization that he is currently in, they couldn't offer a job that he was looking for. No, not what he was looking for. What they said was, after the interview, Mr. Saleem, he is also Saleem, and Mr. Saleem, unfortunately, we do not have a, an opening for you at this moment. That is what they said. Since my son had done his research, right, he knew that they had some opening somewhere else. And he didn't say that I know that there's an opening like that. He said, but my skill set is like this, and I will be able to help you in this area. That is what he, in fact, I don't remember exactly what he said, that is what he said, when he was given the opportunity to ask question, he said, this is what I will be able to do. And they simply liked him. And today he is kind of, um, a very well sought after intern in the organization, that they have even offered him employment, after his graduation. They are planning to employ him, and which he is so happy about. This is what I'm telling you. When they ask questions, now they might even say, sorry, for your skill set, we don't have an opening. Just because don't they say that, don't be despair, right? Don't despair, don't mm, say, think that that is the end of the world, right? Just say what you feel, but no, my skill set is like this. I think you can make use of my skill set in these areas, if that is possible. But don't show, don't appear desperate. Desperation, don't show them that you are desperate to get this. I mean, please, I want this job, I want to make my end. No, don't be desperate. But when they ask, when they give you an opportunity to ask question, yeah, ask question, anything that you have, if you feel right, the salary they are offering is not adequate, or not in par with the industry, but that you can be um, stage in a level there, you definitely can say, I feel that you have not, there had been a misunderstanding. Don't blame them. You have not understood me well. Don't say that. There had been a misunderstanding about my skills. I have this, and probably I can fit into this level or this level. So, discuss with them, ask questions, right? But never ever appear to be desperate. Yeah, we all know, I understand, when we pass out from the university, we want to be of less burden to our parents, and we want to be independent. We want to um, have a great foundation for our future in life and all that, that is true. But never ever try to beg or show your desperation so that uh, they will feel not quite happy about you. Okay. And work on your answers. This is exactly what I said earlier. So, work on your answers. One thing I learned in when I told you that I I studied communication skills, and that has been my field of specialty now. Now I'm an engineer, and also I consider myself a specialist in communication skills. So you cannot become an impromptu speaker. Impromptu speaker is a person who can speak just like this, no, just without any preparation. You cannot become an impromptu speaker if you do not practice, and it is true even for your interviews. So this is an ideal situation for you, because you are batchmates, your colleagues, your friends, your practical partners, and you often associate all of them. You all have the same issue, right? So you all have a common ground to work on. That is how to answer at interviews, how to be ready at all times, right? You in life, you don't get an opportunity to get ready. In life, you have to stay ready always you have to stay ready. So how do you stay ready in answering questions? By practice. Don't think it is a joke. It is a fact. And that is how I became um, good in impromptu speaking. Impromptu speaking is, just give any subject, and I will speak. Saying this any subject is something quite dangerous. How can I be able to speak on any subject? This is exactly what happened when I was invited to promote this communication skill training that I am engaged in through Toastmasters. You probably have heard of Toastmasters. I am a Toastmaster for 17 years. We went to the Institute of Architects to promote Toastmasters. Now, one aspect in Toastmasters is we train ourselves to become impromptu speaking. Impromptu speaking, you have no prior knowledge. Somebody will give you a topic and you speak on that. So at the Institute of Architects, I was called on the stage by one of the organizers, who is also a Toastmaster, and she said, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Saleem here on the stage, and he can speak on any subject." See, she said he can speak on any subject. Do you know what I got? Not only me, in fact, there were three others on the stage. What she said was, they can speak on any subject. So somebody in the audience, there were about 200 people in the audience. Somebody in the audience, they shouted, "Spatial differentiation." Spatial differentiation. Can you imagine what it means? I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know. But the person who was organizing said that they can speak on any subject. So any subject is what we got. How do you cope up? So I had to stand up and speak on spatial differentiation. Do you know how I did it? Because I had the practice in speaking impromptu. I go to our Toastmasters Club meeting every fortnight, and I practice and I practice over and over again. I was able to stand up and say, spatial differentiation, that's a great topic, and that's a great subject. But I don't know what it means, but I know what spatial means, and I know what differentiation means. Differentiation was the favorite part in mathematics when I was studying for my A levels, and I spoke about differentiation in mathematics. And that is how you react to the situation. And I was able to do that only because I practiced this every fortnight at our Toastmasters Club meeting. So working on your answers is that. So you have 3 more weeks. 3 more weeks. You schedule your meetups between 2 friends or a group of friends. I think a small group is the best. 10 to 15 people if you can get together. Depending on the number of people in your batch, don't have all. Don't have hundreds of you in one group because it might not work well. But 10 to 15 groups, you get together and ask more questions. Ask questions. You go on internet and download all these questions, 200 interview questions or 2000 interview questions, and ask these questions. Just simply ask, that they can be relevant or they cannot be relevant. Then simply ask the questions and try to give an answer. Right? By doing that, you are practicing. So working on your answer is that, that is the most important thing, because the interviewer will see how adaptable are you. How can you adapt yourself to any situation? Because you don't have prior knowledge about what the interview is going to ask. So all those questions are going to be impromptu. You have to answer them impromptu without any pre-preparation. So therefore, you better practice and go. I assure you, and I guarantee you, you will feel very confident when these people ask you the question. I'm 100% sure. And you yourself will be surprised at the end. My God, I was able to answer this question. I never knew where the answers came. Yeah, it has happened to me many times. Now, sometimes I go to events. I go to events and I'm not the scheduled speaker. Nowhere. No, I'm just going as the part of the audience. And but they suddenly find, oh right, Saleem is there. Saleem, will you be able to come and do talk to us about something or some topic? Of course, communication is my favorite subject. I am ready. I am ready. Not because I told you English is not my first language. It's my third language. But because I keep myself practicing, I keep myself abreast in this skill of communication, I am confident that I can go and speak at any place. And you also can do that. You also can be that. Because you are much younger than me, you are very, very much younger than me. So if not you, who can? You are all engineering undergraduates, soon to be graduates, and I'm very proud that I myself as an engineer, that I am talking to a bunch of budding engineers. And the problem with our engineering community is that, and majority of the engineers, they don't communicate well. You can. So I am giving you one of the well-guarded secrets to interviewing. Have conduct mock interviews. Mocking is not bad. Mocking is good. Conduct mock interviews, and you will realize that they help you. And finally, in this section, be present. Being present in the moment is important. Get rid of all other thoughts that you must be having. And maybe I have to hand over that assignment, and I have to go and see my girlfriend, boyfriend, all these things. Just get rid of it. Be present in the moment, because the moment is the most important moment in your life, because it is what is going to decide whether you are going to get this job or not. You have chosen this organization to be your future. So that is what would decide whether you are going to get this job or not. So enter the room. If you are going into a physical interview, just enter the room as thinking that you are already working there. you are part of the team. Just think that way. Just go with that positive attitude. Feel like you are part of the team. I am here to make this organization a great organization, and they can't do it without me. Go with that kind of an attitude, and imagine how friendly and supportive your colleagues are going to be. They may not be, but that's a secondary thing. But you just think imagine in yourself, right? They are going to be very friendly. They are going to be very supportive. And I am getting into a fantastic organization, and this is where my future is going to be. Go with that positive feeling and energy, and feel that you are in a happy place, right? If you can't have that feeling, that is not the right place for you. I'm telling you, right? More than anything, your happiness is most important. So this is a question that you have to ask when you are choosing your employer and when you are choosing your life partner. Are you going to be happy for the rest of your life? If the answer is yes, then that is it. If the answer is no, then that is not. I will take a moment now just to give you time to ask any questions, because we are almost nearing the end of this program. So if there are any questions, I will just stop sharing my screen and come onto the main screen and ask, do you have any questions, anything in particular that you would like to ask me or get clarified? No questions?
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, then, yeah, wait. My question is related however, if we put something like we are not comfortable with something I mean the basic knowledge, if we have in something about, we have put it into the CV, and if the panel asks a deeper question on that, then how we should behave. I mean, yeah.
May I know your name?
I'm Buddhima.
Right. Buddhima, your question is that if I have stated something in my CV, a particular skill which I'm not very comfortable about, and if the interviewer asks me a question, how I am going to deal with it? Is it the question? Was that your question?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Right. A very good question. Thank you, Buddhima, for asking that. Number one, I would say is, we should be truthful in whatever we say, right? If we are not comfortable with anything, I think we should not add that in the CV, because the moment you hesitate, the interviewer is going to know that you have not been truthful. We look for people who are with with a great sense of integrity, honesty, sincerity, because those are the qualities that we would be looking for when we are getting somebody employed. But I can understand your question. There is a skill that I am not very familiar, but I would like to put it in my CV. Right. So if they try to kind of dig deep into that skill and ask how I'm going to handle, that is something that you have to work on. Number one, being truthful is very important. Never try to kind of deceive other people by not being truthful. If you are not comfortable with any particular skill, I would say admit that you are not very comfortable in that, but I'm working on that skill, and I will be able to mm, develop on that skill. Or otherwise, what I was just telling you, by practicing, you get your friend to ask you 100 questions on that particular skill. I don't know what skill you are going to talk about, and be comfortable and go with that comfort. But I will strongly suggest you, if you try to kind of not try to show something that you are not, it's eventually going to be come into light. So therefore, I guess you avoid it, but probably you will be able to get over it if you practice. Did I give you an answer for you to?
Yeah, okay, sir. Fine.
Okay. Anything else that I would appreciate? I think we can spend about 5 to 10 minutes for questions.
So I have one question.
Yeah.
So if the panel asks a question and if I was struck for some reason, how do I face and how do I tell I don't know that in proper manner?
What's your name again?
I'm Lapalu.
Lapalu.
Yes, sir.
Lapalu, and your question is that when the interviewer asks you a question and you get stuck and you kind of struggle to give that answer, how you pop up with that. One thing that I learned from the people I spoke to while I was getting ready for this presentation was because if the skill you are possessing is not, definitely now you all are engineering undergraduates, your skills are unique, and the skills are really sought after by the organizations, right? So in such cases they wouldn't care, right, if you were unable to answer that in English. Particularly this the person in the IT industry, what he told me was, no, we don't care that he explains it in English, but even if they explain it in Sinhala, uh, they only want, because they are interested in that skill, right? If you can answer, if you can explain that in Sinhala, it's okay. You tell them I will be more comfortable in explaining in Sinhala, and you explain, give the answer in Sinhala and switch back to English. It's okay. But here the challenge is, if there is another candidate having the same skill and that candidate is able to explain that properly in English, that person will stand a better chance in getting the employment than you. So that is what you got to understand. So the secret to communication, improving communication skill, is practice. But I know in the next 3 weeks you will not be able to gain that level of a competency. That is why I said you do your mock interviews and try to get your competency level higher, right? And you will be able to achieve some standard. But don't worry if you cannot explain. If it is a technical skill related question, if you cannot answer that in English, it's okay. You switch to Sinhala or Tamil or whatever. If you are speaking in Tamil, you must make sure that people in the interview panel would understand that. But don't ask them, can I say that in Sinhala? No, don't ask them, can I say in Sinhala? While you are talking, you switch to Sinhala and make a මේ විදියට කරන්න, මෙහෙම කරාම මේ විදියට මේක මට කරගන්න පුළුවන්, right? And then switch back to English. And if they say we didn't understand your Sinhala, then I don't know how you are going to cope up, but generally, if they are locals, they would understand and they would know, because more than anything, they will see your level of confidence in answering that question, right? So the problem is in your English speaking skill, not in the knowledge of the skill, right? So if they understand that, then they will be quite happy about it. Are you satisfied, Lapalu?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, how we answer if they ask about our expected salary in the interview?
Yes. And what's your name?
I am Pasan.
Pasan. Yes. Yeah, Pasan. That's that's a very tricky question. Now, that is why I said you have to do your research before going into the employment, going into the interview. And today in modern world, in today's situation, you can go online and find out what is the industry standard and what is the industry standard rates and all that. You can definitely find, but just because you are entering into the job market, it doesn't mean that you have to undervalue your skill or your the market rate. If the market rate is 150,000 a month, and you definitely can ask 150,000. Then they are going to ask you why 150,000, because we pay 150,000 for this this amount of skill and all that. So you should be able to answer that. You must be able to qualify the salary that you're asking for. Just because they ask a salary and you don't even mind working for 50,000, I'm just saying, right? This is not something you don't even mind working for 50,000 doesn't mean that you have to ask 50,000. Don't undervalue your profession, because you are entering as a fresh graduate and you just do a research, and even the organization that you are going into, right? Just see whether these organizations, they would pay the market rate. Or now some organizations like Sri Lanka Telecom, we have fixed salaries. We don't negotiate salaries and give. We simply say, right, this is the salary we give. So, and they have a hierarchical salary increment every year based on performance and all that. But if the organization is a private organization, particularly overseas based organization, they will definitely negotiate with you the salary. And sometimes, particularly in IT industry or whatever, if they have a client that needs the skill set that you have, right? They would even pay you a higher salary and recruit you if you have that skill set. It's a thing that you have to carefully think. It all depends on the organization that you are facing the interview with, right? Do little research and see what is the industry standard and how much is the salary that an engineer is getting with your skill set. Say a slightly higher salary, right? If the industry standard is 140,000, don't say I need 200,000. If the industry standard is 140,000, you just say I would say 150,000, just 10,000 rupees extra. So don't you think that 150,000 is a bit too high? Then you can ask, yes, then what are you offering me? Let me know what you are trying to offer me. If they say 75,000 rupees, then you say, then I'm not interested in your job. You should be able to straight away say that, because there should be no discount for your time spent in the university, the amount of skills that you have achieved and everything. We cannot discount. We are all professional. We are going to be in the professional world. So you have to maintain that professional standard. If someone is trying to undervalue you, definitely you are not going to be happy there, isn't it? So you say, sorry, I'm not ready, and walk out. Don't worry to say that, that again will show your confidence, and they might even agree to pay you 150,000 rupees and recruit you. So that may be a tricky question they are asking. So you have to face that question quite sensibly. So doing a little bit of research is the key for that situation. Did I answer you? Remember, are you okay with that answer?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, sir, shall I also go with the question? If the time permits.
Yeah, it is Viraj. Yes,
Yeah.
Viraj. No, go ahead.
So at the initially, then we are entering the room, and sometimes then we asking the first question like introduce about yourself, and like to get to know about us. So in that case, we allowed to say about the our academics and also the passionate things, or else is it specific to a limited 2 or 3 sentences? So,
Yeah, that is again, that all depends on the context. When you walk into the room, you will see that they are kind of the environment. They are ready to listen to you and all that. So they will say, okay, Viraj, tell us about yourself. And it doesn't mean that you have an open license to go on for speaking for 10 minutes. No, right? So it will be briefly stating about you. My name is Viraj and I come from my hometown, whatever it is, if it matters. I've just passed out from University of Ruhuna, and my specialty is this. And try to think of a tagline that would sell you. Right? What kind of a person are you? Right? Now, I would say I am a passionate communicator. So communication is my passion. So I'm here sitting in front of you as so I would show that my passion. So if your passion is in hiking, you won't say my. But be careful if that has any relevance to the organization or whatever. That just if hiking is your passion, if you just say, they might think, right, you will start hiking all the time, not doing the work. So be careful, be sensible, and be thoughtful of the answers that you are giving. But the general idea is to introduce yourself, name, where you come from, the university, the degree, and also your tagline. Yeah, tagline. I think you probably would have heard this from various other presenters. Probably the last week's presenter told you about when you are preparing your CV or the resume. Now you should have one liner that describes you, and develop that liner, and just say, carry it with you all the time. You say, I'm so and so. I'm a passionate communicator, and I help people to become better communicators.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Viraj. I think we have come to the end of it. If there are no more questions, I'm not trying to cut off, but if there are no more questions, I think I would like to conclude by thanking Dr. Prince for giving me this opportunity to speak to you, the undergraduates of the engineering faculty of Ruhuna University. And as I always tell Dr. Prince, I would have loved to visit and meet you all personally, but unfortunately, thankful to the technology, we are meeting virtually. So thank you very much. And I wish you all the best. Remember, engineers, they are the cream of society. Right? So you are going to build our country, and you are the future. And that is what I look forward in engineers. So I wish you all the best. And I would like to see you in greater places in the society. Thank you very much. Over to you, Madhushani.
Thank you very much, sir. Good evening to all. We have now come to our end of our session on how to face an interview. Throughout the session, we got very good idea on how to face an interview. We definitely know how to improve the qualities that the companies are looking for, like passion, EQ, commitment, communication, etc. Now that you know how to face an interview, and now get ready for the internship interviews. Thank you, Mr. Zameen M Saleem, for conducting this session and dedicating your valuable time for us. And I like to extend my thank you to Dr. Prince, Ms. Vindhya Velihena, and the Career Guidance Cell of the Faculty of Engineering, University of Pune for organizing this webinar. And also thank you for the partners for our Career Week, Civil and Environmental Engineering Society, Electrical and Information Engineering Society, Mechanical and Manufacturing Engineering Society, and thank you to our all participants for making it today. And now we have come to the end of our another useful session. I would like to remind all the participants to fill the feedback form in the chat box. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you very much.